Welcome to the very best mods of Palworld series. We're going to be running through all the latest and greatest, as well as the good old faithful mods that you absolutely should consider, try yourself. These are all going to enhance your enjoyment, your experience. So come along for the journey as we go through the best Palworld mod series. Use the chapters where you need them. All the links to the mods will be in the description. Just to make it nice and easy, there'll be something here for everyone. So let's dive into Palworld's crazy mod universe, fishing out the very best. Let's go. The next mod is so similar to the PAL info, however it's completely wrapped around eggs. Now, all the various eggs within the game, once in your inventory, will actually detail the very PAL and a pretty good rough estimate of what you're expected to see in terms of attack and defense. The mod is called PAL Egg Info, and it has incredible functionality by displaying the stats for bred and wild PALs when hovering over the egg within your inventory. Alpha PALs are even included. They will have the red name for easier identification. This also has multiplayer functionality too, so you can try this in a multiplayer session. However, let's give this a bit of a test. We have a level 1 Ragnarhawk, and here you can see it gives a rough estimation of the attack, defense, health. So we throw this egg in the incubator and let's check out how close it gets in terms of sort of the estimated values, and a pretty good estimation. Now what's epic about this mod is that for all your wild eggs, you're not going to be able to see the active passive skills. However, if you start breeding, this is where this mod will truly shine. Before even hatching any bred egg, you're going to be able to get the complete lowdown: attack, defense, passive skills, active skills. So this could be another superb mod for saving time if you still really enjoy the breeding process but want a little bit of a shortcut and get all the extra info about what will hatch out of the egg even before you hatch it. It's another incredible mod that is going to absolutely enhance how you experience breeding within Palworld, particularly if you still go with the theme of having a limited Palbox. If you've ever done full-on breeding, it gets nightmarish. So this could be a cool alternative to make it a little bit less painful. Before we move on, it is worth noting that this mod comes with some extra settings where we can require glasses to access this feature, and we can turn it on and off, as well as some logging debugging. Very robust, excellent mod. Let's keep moving. We have a very simple but very welcomed addition to Palworld, and you've just loaded into a new game. This mod allows us to access and see the whole entire map from the very get-go. Couple this with the HD map texture mod, and we have this glorious huge open map for all to see. It just makes it a really nice handy touch, especially if you're very familiar with the map. However, do note, it still will require you to go to each of the teleport towers and discover them for them to be activated. So it doesn't create any shortcuts. It just gives you nice, clear visibility of the map from the get-go. And especially nifty for those. And just a nifty little change to give you complete visibility of Palworld. This superb mod is called Unlock World Map View, and I think it's an absolute must-to-have. Let's keep moving. The Shinies Luckies mod introduces custom shiny textures to every wild and caught Lucky Pal, giving these rare creatures a distinct and vibrant appearance. Additionally, the update extends shiny textures to all Alpha Pals with the Lucky passive skill, providing players with visually unique combat and utility pals that are also functional within the gameplay. For the unique textures, every pal in the game receives a custom shiny texture, adding visual distinction to these rare creatures. So their colors and skins will be different, and it's an absolute incredible way to experience and highlight shiny pals, really giving them that coveted, special, exciting factor for capturing these pals. Now in the example, I have all the pals as shinies, just so you can get a really good idea of how visually distinct each of them are and how much it just changes up the pals themselves. Cool thing is the shiny textures are now applied to alpha pals with the lucky trait. This will make it much more easier if you're not using other mods that will tell you, like the PAL info. This is another really cool way of being able to highlight that particular trait. It's also integrated into the breeding system, so players can breed lucky alpha pals with offspring inheriting the shiny texture, making this an incredibly valuable mod for players focusing on breeding mechanics and maintaining the excellent shiny aspects. This is a fantastic mod that adds a creative layer and customization to Palworld by giving lucky and alpha pals shiny textures, making it a rare, creative, visual, distinct, and even more rewarding to collect. But what I would recommend, if you are collecting and using a lot of shinies, we need to move on to the next mod, which is the Shiny Lucky Pals and Predator Pals No Sound. It comes with two different versions. Get both to turn off the shiny sound. This is an incredibly powerful mod for anyone that's capturing or using shiny pals. This will be perfect to go with the mod we just covered, and this is pretty much an absolute must if you are playing on the settings where all pals are shiny. That noise becomes insanely mad flattening over time, so this is a great addition to just quiet the game but also experience shinies in the best way. The remote Palbox mod offers the player the ability to open their Palbox from anywhere within Palworld, completely eliminating the need to return to base or locate a Palbox. This mod streamlines inventory and Pal management, significantly improving the game's flow. As an example, here I am standing outside a base, pressing the default button, which is K. We are able to change a PAL while we're not even within our base. Noting that the Grintail has just spawned within the base, the way it will work is it's going to find the closest base. So do note, in order to be able to update or change the PAL within the base, you will need to be close by or closer than another base you do not want to interact with. However, you are also able to access the fast travel menu, allowing you to fast travel to any location from where you are, which is pretty damn huge. You're able to access the base upgrade menu as well, and definitely the highlight, accessing that PAL management, meaning we'll be able to switch up our party of PALs on the fly at any time. This is some really cool functionality, particularly if you've made a mistake and you just need to quickly switch over a PAL, saving you a ton of time of having to travel back and forth from bases. This is multiplayer friendly as well, which is really nice to see. Also worth noting that you'll be able to change the default key and some of the settings using another mod called mod config. With the mod config menu UI mod installed, we can simply click on the top right here, click on remote Palbox, the corresponding mod, update the keybind, as well as have the option to only open the Palbox menu while you're within your base. That means the functionality is limited to your base. However, we want that off. We want to be able to open it anywhere. However, you do have that flexibility to flick it on and off. One thing to note is that you won't be able to bring up the PAL management while you're riding a PAL. This is standard functionality, so it's keeping in line with that. You do get a system warning, so everything's accounted for. Really nice touch there. And finally, just to give you an example of changing currently equipped PALs while you're on the fly, changing it up to something different, instantly able to change your PALs. The remote Palbox mod is a game changer for players seeking a more efficient Palworld experience. By allowing the player to access the Palbox from anywhere, it removes a significant gameplay bottleneck, enabling way smoother exploration, resource management, and combat preparation, making it a must-have for both single players and multiplayer enthusiasts. Final note is, I don't know how I was able to bring up the teleport menu, so perhaps that is not a feature of this mod. Following that insane quality of life mod, we have another one which adds just as much utility. The remote monitoring stand mod enhances utility and convenience by allowing players to access monitoring stands key features remotely. So for example, we can hit F2, which is the default keybinds, and we can systematically update the assignment board wherever we are. Following suit of the last mod, it will link to the base you're closest to. So make sure if you do want to change the PAL management, you want to be closer to this base rather than this base in order to access the correct PALs that you're after to change. So F2, bringing up the assignment board where we can on the fly update the PALs that we want. This functionality is extremely efficient. You can queue up things on your furnace. You'll be able to monitor it here once it's finished. Then you can change the PAL that you would like onto it, and so on and so forth. The other neat feature is that you'll be able to press F3, and here we can bring in the monitor stand and also toggle on and off what we want our PALs to be focusing on wherever we are within the game. Keep in mind that this is a base proximity logic, so you do need to be closer to the base, particularly if you have multiple bases, but this is just such huge convenience as it completely removes the need to return to the monitor stand at your base, massively reduces the backtracking, and when you combine this with the remote Palbox mod, you have a super powerful on-the-fly tools to manage your base while you're exploring. And just like the remote Palbox, you'll be able to come into the mod settings and set your keybinds the way you'd like. Now this next mod is a really nice feature for many reasons, as it will declutter your base of all the various storages, as you'll be able to survive off just a couple with the additional storage slot mod. It's a very practical enhancement for players who find themselves struggling with the limited storage space in Palworld. The mod comes with excellent customization, having a 2x, 5x, and 10x extra slots within all the various containers. So to break it down a little bit more, you'll have the orange locker that can have up to 200 slots, the metal chest 240 slots, the refrigerator up to 250 slots, which is just a glorious little enhancement, as you'll finally be able to have pretty much every food item within one fridge. The refined metal chest will be able to support up to 400 slots, the large shipping container up to 400 slots as well, and then the advanced chest will have 540 slots. Literally, you will only need one of these bad boys within your base, but I find this mod particularly excellent for storing all your different schematics, and it's handy to have them all in one container. Same with your skill fruit. Now the figures mentioned will change depending on which version, whether you get the 2, 5, or 10 times extra slots but in totality, you just get heaps of storage space. It is worth noting that the containers do have a persistence element to them, meaning if you install this mod and have a ton of different stuff in them, and then you remove or disable the mod, those slots will still be attached to those containers. You'll have to delete them and then build the container again to reset to the default slots. It is worth noting that all your previous built storage will still have the same amount of slots, the default amount. You will need to construct a new storage container to really see the benefits. So just keep that in mind. You need to install the mod, then build new containers, then you'll have all the various slots, or your old containers will remain with the default slot amount. However, it is really handy because if you do delete the mod, you still will keep all the gear within these containers. It's also worth noting that this is compatible with multiplayer servers, but all players must have it installed, just like pretty much most of the mods. The additional storage slot mod is practical, performance-friendly enhancement for players needing more storage capacity within Palworld. Certainly balances the ease of use with significant utility. Though higher slot increases may reduce inventory management, strategic depth, I think this is a fantastic addition, particularly for things like schematics and skill fruit, streamlining the complexity of managing so much inventory. Must-have mod in my book. Let's keep moving. The True Monster Rancher mod is a staple for Palworld players who want to maximize the efficiency and diversity of loot drops within the game. This mod overhauls the drop table for ranching pals, adding new items and tweaking drop rates to enhance the farming and crafting experience. Key features are the expanded drop tables, so the pals that drop things within the ranch now have some new items that they'll drop, pretty much covering all the necessities and basic items you need for crafting. So it adds numerous new items to the power drop table, including Capriti will now drop horns. This is a big, huge one, as certainly need tons and tons of horn early to mid game. Malpaca will now drop leather and electric organs. Sibelix will now drop ice organs. Vixie's now going to drop a ton of new stuff. Bones, a wide range of ammos, handguns, shotgun, rocket ammo even, as well as all pal souls, small, medium, large. Vixie now pretty much becomes its own little factory. Vixie's also going to be able to drop all the various different types of spheres: mega, giga, hyper, ultra, legendary, and even ultra spheres. Now when it comes to the drop rates, it is quite nicely balanced, where you would see very rarely ultimate spheres, but it can drop. So it is possible to get all the different types of sphere, but do note, regardless of which type of sphere is dropped, it will always use the very basic blue sphere as its icon. So you will have to walk up to them, pick them up, or if you have a full inventory, you'll be able to see if it is one of the other various spheres. But it will drop all the different types. Mao and Mao Christ will now drop gems and crafting materials. And it's also worth noting, here are some of the other drop rates. Noting now that we have complete coverage of all the different organs between all the different ranch pals, with electric, ice being very handily added using this mod. As mentioned, there are different versions of this mod which can reduce the drop rates or focus on a Vixie only and a Vixie only with reduced rates. The True Monster Rancher mod is an invaluable addition to Palworld, offering players a streamlined and rewarding ranching experience. Great mod that offers a lot of different versions to really suit your needs and desires. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like these mods, stay tuned for the next video where we continue the series of covering all the best mods for Palworld.